if you haven't heard, which it's understandable because a lot of people have stopped watching or like focusing on Destiny 2 news because man, a lot of people fell out with the Destiny 2 series quite early on, so a lot of people wouldn't know. But if you haven't heard, Game Informer has an exclusive coverage of Destiny 2 Forsaken over the next month, and now this means that a lot of the news surrounding Forsaken is directly coming from Game Informer. Most of the news I've seen is from Game Informer, so it is a hotspot for a lot of the news coming out for Destiny 2. So I would recommend going there if you are interested in Destiny 2 Forsaken, just to see some of the videos they have already put out. And I think the coverage goes until the end of this month, maybe going into next month. I don't know when it exactly stops, but all I know is that for the next couple of weeks they're going to be pumping out some of that Destiny 2 Forsaken news. So I would recommend going there and having a look if you're interested. But recently they released a video detailing the Scorn's social structure, their new abilities, and most of the things surrounding their design. And I would definitely recommend watching the video so you get a full understanding of the enemies we'll be facing in Forsaken. But again, watch it if you're interested. Watch it at your own leisure. However, in this video, we won't be discussing the Scorn or all the information towards that. We're going to be discussing some of the weapons seen in the gameplay of the video, specifically the Dreaming City weapons. The weapons I'm talking about, these ones right here. People have been saying, and I think a couple leaks from coming out, that these are the Dreaming City weapons, not the raid weapons, not specifically towards that raid, but the Dreaming City weapons. So that means that we're most likely going to be getting them from not the raid, but from something else inside of the actual Dreaming City play space itself. And as you saw, I'm showing them on the screen now when they come past. I think we see a hand cannon. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a secondary hand cannon. We see an auto rifle and a rocket launcher. And those are the three weapons we see towards the Dreaming City. I think there's possibly, it's not confirmed, but there's possibly a sniper as well. I've seen as well, and also maybe a scout rifle. But again, the scout rifle is more of a guess because I'm pretty sure that's a scout rifle. That's specifically like a Gambit scout rifle. It's the scout rifle that looks like the pulse rifle seen in the gameplay that we've seen. When all those YouTubers went out and did some recording. It's the same kind of design, but it could also be considered in the same similar design to the Dreaming City weapons. Mainly because we can't really see it that well, and the weapon is a little smoother, kind of like the same kind of architecture as the other weapons, as the Dreaming City weapons. So I'm not 100% sure about that weapon, but we might have seen it. Just don't quite remember that one though, but we possibly might have it. And my first impressions when I saw this weapon were, holy shit, this looks nice. Like the aesthetic of the weapon is just beautiful. I love the color scheme, the soft white pearl on the shell of the weapon, with the little bit of added extra blue, the baby blue that you see on the barrel of the weapon. And then to top it off, the hint of gold on the top of the scope. Again, this is specifically when I'm talking towards the auto rifle, but even the hand cannon, the shaping of it is beautiful. I just love these weapons are just amazing. The architecture of weapons. I love the dreamlike quality that it creates. Like when you look at it, you do see that like this is a weapon made in someone's dreams. Like it is just the way it is, just the unusual shape of it. Just makes me think of an old-fashioned sleeping gown. The smooth curved edges on the top of the hand cannon, like it just looks like something that would be made inside of a dream. Like I have to give props to the art team because the way they designed this weapon, it just matches the theme of the Dreaming City being a mystical place where things are unusual, things that you wouldn't normally see in the real world. And it is a complete, this weapon is completely different to the aesthetic of the Awoken for Destiny 1. Like honestly, that was a more gritty, realistic interpretation. While this is a more fantasy setting with the tall towers and everything there, the weapons as you see, as I said, the weapons just look like the shell of it just looks like a soft silk cloth. Like it's amazing, and it's just was so well designed. I just love these weapons. I think they perfectly match the setting, the kind of feel that the Bungie team were trying to go for when making the Dreaming City. Like it's just perfect. Like as I said before, when I look at these weapons, they just look like they've been conceived in a dream. As it looks like they're trying to be it looks like the person designing these weapons were, when they were thinking in their dream, they were trying to think of this weapon inside their dreams, but because of the limitations of your imagination when you're dreaming, the weapons came out misshapen, unusual, something that you wouldn't naturally see, as I said before, unworldly, as you would most likely say. It looks like something that a human mind wouldn't dream of while they're conscious. Like, I can't stop and see the glaring similarities with the aesthetic design of the Dreaming City and elven architecture from many different fantasy series. The pale white and gold color scheme that you see in many of these different fantasies, elven cultures and buildings and architecture, in many fantasies. Like, they pretty much match perfectly. Like, if you showed me a picture of the Dreaming City and said this is this is the homeland of an elven species, I would totally agree with you. Like, I would be like, yeah, it's fair. Like, it looks like, you know, an elf, something that like elves would build, and I think, you know, that match perfectly matches the theme that the Bungie team were going for, because elves are a very mysterious race. Like, in many different series, the elves are like a race off on doing their own little thing. They're very mysterious. We know little about them, and they have their own little system, their own little society. They have like barely any connections to the actual like main world with the humans or the dwarves or whatever, depending on the fantasy. And that's pretty much what the Awoken are. The Awoken are a mysterious race off on the outskirts of the reef, doing their own little thing. We know barely anything about them. They're very mysterious. They're very out there and different, and they're very they look godly to the way, because, you know, like some of the stuff, they just look godly. Like the way they've built this, you know, the Dreaming Sea, the way it's designed, it looks like they're all powerful, like godly creatures, and that's pretty much what the elves are, and that's how they're represented in many different stories. And I think this design perfectly matches the Awoken, because that's the way they're being presented now. And I think it's a perfect match. Like, it's ingenious. Again, I'm giving even more props to the art team for doing this. Like, it's just ingenious. And this little design detail just makes his weapon more special to me. And I can't just wait to get them. They just look awesome. They look amazing. And even better, they if you can see in the gameplay, they're proccing. I think it was for the auto rifle. It was proccing Rampage. No, I think it was proccing Kill Clip and Outlaw. And that perk combination just looks like it would just utterly destroy enemies. And, you know, I can't wait to use this weapon, because it does look like a good weapon. It does look like it's gonna be fun, and I just can't wait to use it. It just looks amazing. But sadly, we don't know how we're gonna get these weapons yet. That's probably gonna be announced later down the track, maybe in the next couple of weeks. But again, you know, it doesn't mean we can't theorize about where you get them. And a couple of theories I have is that, well, you know, for one, you know, the obvious theory, these are the Dreaming City weapons, so it would make a lot of sense that these weapons would be sold by Petrovenge in the Dreaming City. You know, she is a Dreaming City vendor, so that would make the most sense. But again, there is a couple problems, mainly being that the aesthetic of these weapons don't really match the Petrovenge at all. You know, because, you know, as I said before, Destiny 1 Awoken design was a lot more gritty, very different. You know, Destiny 1, Bungie were trying to go with a different kind of representation for the Awoken, being a lot more survivors, you know, scrappy survivors kind of thing, like they're just hanging on. And many of the design, you can see that a lot of the design in the Destiny 1 Awoken, like weapons, armor, all that kind of stuff. It was a lot more gritty. While these weapons are a lot more fantasy based, so it wouldn't really match for Petrovenge to have these weapons. So that's why I personally don't think Petrovenge is going to sell these weapons. I think she's going to sell something else, because she seems like she's going to sell her own kind of thing. You know, maybe some weapons, maybe some of the other weapons seen, maybe like these red weapons, but that's probably going to be like crucible weapons or something. Or maybe there's something else seen, but, you know, that's still that could still change. You know, maybe these are her weapons. We don't know yet. But I think it's more realistic for these weapons to be the new Escalation Protocol. No, not Escalation Protocol. I don't know. I forgot. I don't think the name has been released yet of this new activity. But if it has, you know, put in the comments, because I forgot. I don't know the name of it. But it's an activity pretty much like Escalation Protocol, but with a little twist, because the area, you don't have like full range, like a full range of a place to go to, because there's gonna be smoke everywhere. And so if you go in that smoke, it's gonna, you know, kill you. Like, that's its whole little thing. So you only have a limited area to work in, and as you fight on and as you kill more waves of enemies, it's gonna slowly expand away, and you're gonna have more room to fight. And that seems like that's where these weapons are going to come from, because one, from the pictures we've seen, a lot of the like, for example, you know, the points you defend, they seem like they match the aesthetic of these weapons. Like, you know, if you look in Escalation Protocol in Warmind over on Mars, their little towers you have, they are very Warmind. They're very, they have the same design as the Warmind thing, and the weapons you get from them, the shotgun, the SMG, the sniper, even the armor, look exactly the same as the tower. The design is pretty much the exact same, and we can see that with the weapons and the tower in this new Awoken version of Escalation Protocol. They're extremely the same, and they look very alike. And it would also make sense because these weapons, as I said, are very powerful, having 2 perks on them. So it would make sense for these powerful weapons to be given from a very powerful activity. And it also makes the most sense. Again, we haven't seen any weapons for this yet. Like we as I'm saying, I think we have seen weapons for this yet, but we haven't been confirmed. There hasn't been any other weapons that look like they could be associated with this activity. And as we saw with the live stream, these weapons, the Escalation Protocol weapons, were released pretty much straight away. Like instantly, they were shown in the first live stream, and it would make sense for these weapons to be shown in the trailers, all that kind of stuff, and these weapons to be part of Escalation, the Awoken version of Escalation Protocol. So to me, that makes the most sense. It also shows us some really cool weapons. It also gives us, or gives me specifically, I don't know if you guys like this weapon, but I really like this weapon, so it gives me more of a reason to go and do these activities, because I want to get these weapons because they look cool, they look awesome, and it's going to give me a reason to do this because of that. So I think it would be a really good idea to make these weapons, these powerful weapons, specifically tied to the new Awoken Escalation Protocol. And as well as these weapons are really powerful, and to give these really powerful weapons to a vendor doesn't seem really that fair, because like these weapons, then as you can see with two of those really powerful perks on them, it seems like that Bungie are trying to make them really good and really powerful. So it wouldn't make sense to me to put them to a vendor, someone where you can easily get loot from that person. And as well as the aesthetic doesn't match Patch Revenge. So I think personally, these weapons are going to be part of the Awoken Escalation Protocol. But again, if you disagree with me, leave them in the comments. Tell me why. Tell me why that is, and don't say these are the great weapons, because honestly, I don't think there's any chance these are the great weapons, because Bungie won't show them that early. Definitely, I don't think they would even show them. They're going to keep them secret most likely. As well as the raid theme seems more taken. It seems like they would be more Taken-fied weapons, because as you can see inside the raid, there are Taken stuff inside of it. So it would make more sense if those weapons are more Taken, and have like more Taken aesthetic or Hive aesthetic on them, and have these weapons for the Escalation Protocol, as well as Bungie won't be showing the raid weapons or anything raid related weapon, like no blue flags at any stage before the DLC or the expansion is released. That is very unlikely. They've never done that before. I think, or actually they've probably done like once or twice, but I don't think they're doing this, especially for this kind of this big of a DLC. I don't think they will be. But you could say that if you have an argument, if you have something like a lot of evidence for this, put it in the comments anyway. But yeah, if you like this video, leave a like. If you dislike this video, leave a dislike. And in the comments, tell me why. Because like, if you're just gonna leave a dislike, that's not gonna be helpful to me. Just tell me why you didn't like the video. Was it because of the way I spoke? Was it because the way I talked? Was it because of my arguments? Just tell me why, and give me some constructive criticism. Give me some ways to improve. Because I want to improve. That's all I want to do this for. That's the only reason I do this YouTube channel, so I can improve at speaking, so I can improve just in general, and writing, all that kind of stuff, and talking. Because I've always struggled with that kind of stuff, so I want to improve. So if you dislike the video, go into the comments and give me a reason why, so I can improve. And yeah, thank you for spending your time watching my dumbass videos, and see ya.